Hi folks, we're going on to what I consider the most fun part of the board now. It all starts to come together and then it becomes a thing you imagined right at the beginning. A few minor adaptations on the way, but you know, it's where we want to be. So we're going to dress the trench walls by using something that looks like it's holding back the dirt. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, some of you will be thinking, oh, I recognise those, they're made from lollipop sticks. They're not, they're made from coffee stirrers. I'll show you the difference. If you've got one of these compared with a lollipop stick, you'll see the lollipop stick is wider, shorter, and it's perfectly smooth. You do get another side. They almost look like the things the doctors put on your tongue and hold your tongue down when you have to say "ah." But they're too big as well. They do have their applications, but not for the effect I'm after. I find that the coffee stirrers have a better sense of scale when it comes to 28mm. You know, they look like planks, or in this case they're going to look like metal beams or a metal barricade holding back all that dirt. Okay, I've made some last night so you can see the kind of effect I'm after. These are going to run all the way along the walls of the trenches. You can see I've got some here. Now they're ones I made while I was watching the TV last night. The ones to fit along here are going to be shorter, and down the side are going to be shorter. Likewise here. Didn't make enough, I only made 20 last night, and it's surprising. You think, oh, I've got 10 foot of these. Doesn't go very far when you start putting them all together. That's the footwell going down the edge from one side to another. You can see, folks, I don't know if I've mentioned it all right, I do lose track from one week to the next, but these have turned out quite well. They do have that metallic grid look that you'd put down in the bottom of a muddy trench, so your vehicles can get traction and you can walk without being affected. That's the kind of effect we're after. Now, I will be painting these to match this as well, and then there'll be like a mud effect applied later, but I'll show you that. So I'm going to use some of these coffee sticks now to give you a demonstration on how to make these. One thing I would say, they don't all have to be perfect. You don't want them perfect because they look like they've been erected by men under fire, so they're never going to be the most perfect. And somewhere like here, where I intended to look like you've had an explosion which had broken up the trench, it will have affected it. So I've made one there. I say I've made one. That one broke as I was making it, and I thought, great, I'll just stick it there. Perfect place for it. And I might make a bit of shrapnel spreading all round here. So on to the next bit, where I'll give you a quick tutorial on showing you how to make those barricades. When you come to make these, you want coffee stirrers that are going to lie flat on the table. So I'll get a board and I'll just put them flat. They lie fairly flat. Let's get a crooked one to show you the alternative. Like that one wouldn't be any good because so those two lie fairly flat. You can see they're parallel to the table. This one is crooked at the end. Let's get that in shot. That's crooked at the end there, and if I want to lay that flat against anything, it's going to cause me problems, so that I would reject. Okay. I want 3 for each one. Now I worked out I need roughly another 10, so if I get 30 of these, I'm not going to count them all on camera, I'll just do enough for 2, so I've got 2 units of 3. Right, now for the uprights. For uprights, I want that kind of shape. Now they are less than 2 inches high. And the reason you want them less than 2 inches high is because the foam, or the blue foam, about 1 3/4 if I measure that, just under 2 inches. Now the reason you have that is because if you don't, if they are greater than 2 inches high, then they will stick over the top of the board, and when you come to put your boards away, you'll break them off and affect the building. So we need, if we're going to make 2 barriers, 9 of those. And to make those, this is where you can use the ones that you rejected earlier. I take one that's the right size, purely through speed, measure the first and take all the others off that first one. I take my cutters, bite into the wood and then just snap it. Simple as that. Flip it over, do the same again. Okay. You can throw that away, folks, or you can keep it. I've got a feeling we're going to need these later for some of the wall sections, so I am going to keep those. Take the original again. If you work from the original, you won't have a creep where it gets bigger or even smaller. So you can, kind of thing you can do on your lap while you're watching the telly. Okay. So there's 6, enough for me to make the first set of barricades. I'll just turn these around. Now I take one of the cocktail sticks as a measure. Let's try and get that in the centre of the screen. There we go. As a measure, and then on the 3 pieces, and you can use any applicator. I mean, this contact adhesive comes with an applicator which I'm going to use, or last night in front of the telly I was pouring them on with that. So, you know, however you feel like doing it, go for it. It dries fairly clear, so good coat. The only trouble is, because it's contact adhesive, it will stick to your fingers in a flash. That's the glue set up. I put my measuring buff against it, and then I mark it roughly. I say I mark it, I don't, you can, I do them by eye, because like I say, I don't want it to be perfect, because I want them to look like they've been erected by men under fire, men in a rush in the middle of the night, and things like that. So I line it roughly up to the centre, and then roughly the same distance inside. Then I will take the cocktail sticks and simply drop them on. One there, and another one there. Now you can do 4 if you want to. I have in places, but in other places I haven't. And then just so make sure you've got a good secure joint, press those down. Okay, so I'll get on with the other 9 that I've got to do, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so there are the barricades which have received their prime coat. Now I used this cheap car spray, about £3-ish for the tin. I used a fraction of it. I do quite a bit of the scenery where I can. Wood isn't affected, and neither is the contact adhesive by the spray. You can see that it's a matte finish, and I do that because it you know, gives a good overall coverage. Quickly, dries quite quick as well as the wood absorbs it. You can see the MDF, or in this case hardboard, that I'm using to protect the table, has had a few coats now and hasn't dried as quick because the moisture isn't being absorbed. Now what I've done, I've turned them all up so that it's the side that you'll see on the tabletop, and I'm going to give them a quick coat of silver now, or gunmetal. Again, you could use car spray, but I don't have any, so I'm just going to give them, use this stuff. It's an expensive way to do it, folks. That said, I'm only going to give the one side that you can see a coat, the black, which will be against the wall. I don't need to do. So, but it would be even cheaper if I got a tin of silver car spray. But again, you could use the acrylics, which will be even cheaper than that. I'm just doing this for time. Okay folks, I'll get that done and then show you the effect. Bulk and colours done. That's setting now. I think it works better with a black underlay anyway, because you get it makes the silver pop on the top. Different sizes for different parts of the board. Just wait for that to dry now, and then I can start gluing them in place. This is just a quick shot of the structures which are meant to signify the holding back of the mud. Being held in place by little pots of glue, or pretty much being held in place by anything that I've got in the shed to hold it in place while the contact adhesive dries. Now I could probably take those away, but I want to make sure, because it's cold this time of year, I want to make sure that that is held in place and it's not going to move at all until I come and want it to move.